The definition of fighting words was made much more exclusive just 7 years later. Father Arthur Terminiello, a suspended Catholic priest and vicious anti-Semite, was found guilty of disorderly conduct in violation of a city ordinance of Chicago and fined. The case grew out of an address he delivered in an auditorium in Chicago under the auspices of the Christian Veterans of America. The meeting commanded considerable public attention. The auditorium was filled to capacity with over 800 persons present. Outside of the auditorium, a crowd of about 1,000 persons gathered to protest against the meeting. A cordon of policemen was assigned to the meeting to maintain order, but they were not able to prevent several disturbances. The crowd outside was angry and turbulent. In his speech, Father Terminiello condemned the conduct of the crowd outside and vigorously, if not viciously, criticized various political and racial groups whose activities he denounced as inimical to the nation's welfare. Terminiello referred to the jeering crowd outside as slimy scum, while he ranted about the communistic Zionistic Jews of America, evoking cries of "kill the Jews" and "dirty kikes" from his audience inside the hall. The crowd outside heaved bottles, bricks, and stones while the police attempted to protect Terminiello and his audience. Finally, the police arrested Terminiello for disturbing the peace. Terminiello maintained that the prosecution violated his right of free speech under the First Amendment. Writing for the majority of the court in Terminiello v. Chicago in 1949, Justice Douglas argued, quote, "The vitality of civil and political institutions in our society depends on free discussion. It is only through free debate and free exchange of ideas that government remains responsive to the will of the people and peaceful change is effected. The right to speak freely and to promote diversity of ideas and programs is therefore one of the chief distinctions that sets us apart from totalitarian regimes. Accordingly, a function of free speech under our system of government is to invite dispute. It may indeed best serve its high purpose when it induces a condition of unrest, creates dissatisfaction with conditions as they are, or even stirs people to anger. Speech is often provocative and challenging. It may strike at prejudices and preconceptions and have profound unsettling effects as it presses for acceptance of an idea." Unquote. In other words, Terminiello's conviction was overturned because the court found that his speech was not fighting words. How could the court hold that Terminiello's speech was not fighting words when a disturbance did result, but Walter Czaplinski's speech was fighting words when there was no such violence? The answer lies in the reasonable person standard. What speech would provoke an otherwise reasonable person to violence? According to the court, only speech of a personally insulting or injurious nature rises to that standard. Whereas Czaplinski had directed insults and epithets at an individual, the town marshal, Terminiello had disparaged broad categories of people, racial and ethnic groups. This standard is the reason it is exceedingly difficult for jurisdictions such as public colleges and universities and local city governments to have their so-called hate speech codes sustained by the courts.